Here's a question that comes up in almost every middle market industrial conversation I have. Why don't our salespeople use a CRM? And it's always framed as a mystery. A discipline problem, a culture problem, a training problem. I would argue that it's none of those things. The best salespeople I've worked with have always adopted tools that make them better. That's not a controversial observation. It's just true. Great reps want an edge. They want their ideas tested. They want their assumptions challenged. They want their efficiency compounded. And if a system enabled efficiency and those benefits, they'd be in it constantly. The question is whether what they've been asked to use actually does any of that. And here's where the real problem lives. Not in the reps, not in the culture. It's in the architecture. CRM was designed for a specific world, a world where sales data and intelligence lived in a structured database. And somebody had to manually log into a particular screen, navigate to a particular view, find a particular field, and update that property. That was the only way to capture what was happening in a deal. You had to do it yourself, manually, field by field. The system couldn't know anything that you didn't explicitly tell it. And since many didn't tell it explicitly, the system never knew it. So forecasts sucked, balls were dropped, etc. But that world is gone, or it's going fast. We now have the ability to be completely dynamic and contextual in how we capture process and surface sales intelligence. Calls are transcribed automatically. Email threads are parsed and summarized. Signals from buyer behavior, market data, and prior interactions get synthesized in real time. The system doesn't need a rep to navigate to a field and type in the value. It can observe, infer, and learn. And yet, most companies are still running a CRM implementation built on the old model. They're asking reps to do the manual entry work that the system should be doing on their behalf. And then they're puzzled when adoption suffers. This isn't the CRM problem. It's a paradigm mismatch. The way sales is evolving, fast, contextual, multi-channel, matrix buying teams, buyer-led, is fundamentally incompatible with a system that's built around structured data fields and manual input. The mental model of go to the CRM is what's broken, not the reps who find it cumbersome. So what does the right system actually look like? What do great salespeople actually want from their commercial infrastructure? As I said earlier, they want their ideas tested. Before a call, before a proposal, before a pricing conversation, before a discovery meeting, they want to think out loud with something that pushes back, that challenges the assumption, that surfaces the risks they haven't considered. That's not a dashboard. That's a thinking partner embedded in the workflow. They want their efficiency increased, not through automation that removes them from the process, but through intelligence that accelerates their judgment. The difference between a rep who spends 40 minutes preparing for a call and one who spends 8 minutes and walks in sharper, that's a system that's doing its job. And yes, of course, they want reporting. A great dashboard for reps is real value. But even more valuable than that is no dashboard at all. Not because reporting doesn't matter, but because the reporting happens as a natural output of a system that's already keeping the rep sharp and forward moving. The management visibility into pipeline detail, the full insight into deal status in case something happens with a rep, all of that becomes a byproduct of a system designed to make reps better rather than the primary thing that the system was built to collect. That's the shift. Management reporting isn't the point. It's the exhaust, if you will, from a system that's actually working. The best commercial infrastructure in the next 3 years won't look like a CRM at all in the traditional sense. It won't be a system that reps log in to update structured fields. It will be a set of dynamic tasks, contextual prompts, real-time insights, and proactive nudges that keep a rep moving in the right direction without ever requiring them to think about maintaining a database. Not go update the CRM, just here's what you need to know right now. Here's what should happen next. Here's where this deal is at risk. Here's the question you should be asking in tomorrow's call. Imagine the best CRM you've ever dreamed of. Now, imagine that nobody ever logs into it. That's the architecture worth building toward. The companies that get there first won't win the CRM adoption battle. They'll make the adoption conversation irrelevant. Because when the system is genuinely in service of the rep, testing their thinking, compounding their efficiency, anticipating and suggesting their next move, nobody has to ask why they're not using it. The question will answer itself. I'm Ed Marsh. I work with middle market industrial companies on growing organic revenue. That's across board governance, strategy, marketing, and sales. And this CRM topic is a great example of an area that's often misunderstood and an unlock opportunity for organic revenue growth.